Well, I want to dig into some of those checklists some more,
Sure.
just so I can, and our audience can kind of think better about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, how would you maybe split up these? Do you have, a checklist for maybe the move-in walkthrough, or you have a
Yes.
checklist for screening tenants? So, what are some of the major categories that you break this down into?
Yeah, so we have all of the above. So every single defined process, has a supporting checklist to it. And some of the checklists are actually even automated on our website. So for example, if a tenant wants to do a self-show, we have wireless lock boxes that are integrated with our website. A tenant can log in to our website and they can put in all of their information, their income, their whether they have any criminal background or not, pet requirements. They can put all that in, and effectively what they've done is they've pre-screened themselves. And then they can get a showing. And so we're trusting them. They obviously have to put in a driver's license and a credit card, but then they can get a lockbox code straight away. And while they're on the curb with their iPhone, they can do all of that, and then they can go right into the property and see it. Because, again, we have to respect the fact that the tenants have lives, they have time constraints, they have customer service needs just like any other customer, and they need to see the properties expeditiously so that we can rent to them expeditiously as well. But that checklist right there is already the foundation of the screening, and now when we do the actual screening, much of that information, at least in the preliminary form, has been provided, and then we just confirm that information and also pull the credit scores and everything else, and it makes it much faster.
Okay. Well, before we go on this topic of checklists, I just want to ask you more about the automated showing, because I've heard of it happening,
Yes.
but I don't know if I've talked to somebody who's actually implementing it. So
Yes.
when did you start doing that?
We started doing that about 5 or 6 years ago. So
really?
We've embraced that technology. We get owner concurrence that we can and are allowed to do self-shows. It eliminates the need for a tenant that just wants to just do a quick walkthrough to see if the floor plan is even close to what they're looking for without having to jump through hoops. And in fact, the showing is a requirement. We won't rent to a tenant until they or a designated representative has actually seen and walked the property, just to make sure that it is something that they want and it is a fit for them. And then the automated lockbox, it's a wireless box. And it connects, like I said, to our website, and it's a very smooth process, very smooth system. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you found any owners who are scared of the risks, or have you found any risks that are real?
No, we really haven't, because of the fact that we are taking preliminary screening data from the tenant, as well as a credit card and a driver's license number. We do know that they are at least pre-screened to an adequate level where they're going to be able to do the showing. The lockbox itself tracks the codes and tracks the entry, and so we can trace back every showing right back to the tenant that was there. It's a discrete code that changes with each time that a showing is authorized, so there's no way they can go back and use a code because it expires very quickly after they get it. And so there's a lot of security built in, but of course there's always a risk. There's always a risk someone can access a home. There's a risk that someone can open up an open window and climb in and burglarize a home too. So, but you have to weigh the risk with the customer service benefit. And so we do a good job of that with our owners, letting them know that this is what we do and why we do it. We won't do self-showings when it's occupied, obviously. Mm-hmm. So it's only when the home is vacant and it's rent ready and showable that we will actually do that. And then it makes it very easy and very quick for the tenants to eyeball the property and get going.
Yeah. Have you found, is the technology for that to be very cost effective, or is it a big investment?
A lot. We're members of the National Association of Residential Property Managers, and that's about a 5,000 member association. And just about every management company out there is doing self-showings in some way, shape, or form. And they can use different boxes. There's actually a National Association of Realtor NAR Sentry Lock box, which is integrated with a company called Rently. We have another company that's called Show Mojo that supports self-showings. There's also a Rently box directly that's a keyed down box that has predefined codes already programmed into it. So it's a very common thing in property management. It's not so common with realtors because the realtors want to make sure that the agent representative is also there with the prospective buyers to show the property. And so there are two agents involved, typically in a buy-sell transaction. On the rental side, because of the margins and the cost of the fees that you get, there's just simply not enough money to support a multifaceted approach. And so the tenants typically are representing themselves, and they come in and they're just doing their own showings and looking for what fits them.
Yeah. Well, I can definitely see how, eliminating the leasing agent can be very cost effective to the management company. And I don't know if that gets passed on to the owner but either way,
it does in lower fees.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, very good. Want to hear more on this topic? Click the link below for the full episode of Maximizing Your Property Value.